Are you just starting out as a makeup artist, trying to build your first kit, and you're seeing all these other makeup artists out there with super high-end luxury kits, and you're thinking, will I ever be able to afford being a makeup artist? Hey guys, welcome to day 4 of the 25 days of Kitmas. The last video I did covered the basics as far as kit building, so I naturally figured that it was pretty essential to discuss actual budgeting. And today we are using a handy dandy budgeting spreadsheet that I actually created and going to be selling by the time this video launches. If you guys are not aware, I do sell business templates on shopjulieruby.com. I sell a wide variety of templates that makeup artists can use to run their businesses more efficiently. Things like bridal contract templates, accounting templates, consultation templates, inventory and expiry date trackers, and then also now this budgeting spreadsheet. I mentioned in my last video that you need around $1,000 to build your first makeup kit. However, $1,000 is still very, very daunting, and a lot of people don't have that in their budget. So we're gonna try to do it for under $800. I'm not sure if we're gonna accomplish this or not, but that is my challenge for myself today. Also, side note, my husband gave me an early Christmas present, and he gave me one of the Ninja espresso makers, and I am in love with it. So today I made myself a caramel macchiato and it turned out so good. But anyways, let's go ahead and go on to the spreadsheet here. So what you're seeing right now on the screen is the spreadsheet that I created to keep track of your budget for your makeup kit. Now I did code everything for you guys, which takes the guesswork out of trying to do formulations and try to figure out math yourself. It just automatically calculates everything for you, which is great. And you can also change out any of this too. You can add and subtract columns and it won't mess up the coding or anything. We have first of all the product, so I'm going to put the product name and like a short description of it, the price of it, and then the quantity, so how much of that product you're getting, and then the total, which is going to total it up here. And then I grouped it by the categories of products that you'll need in your first kit, so it kind of almost gives you a baseline of what to look for, so you're not missing anything. As we go along here, you're going to see all the calculations take place, and I'm not going to have to lift a finger, I'm not going to have to do any math in my calculator. It's going to do everything for me. And then at the very bottom, after you get through everything, there is a total column right here, which is going to eventually total up all of column D. So let's go ahead and go on to skin prep first. You're going to need a moisturizer that works for all skin types. Then you're going to need a couple of different primers, so mattifying primer and hydrating primer, and then also a setting spray. Okay, I'm gonna just go onto Ulta's website just so we can find some affordable products. This is probably the easiest way to do it, by the way. I'm going to be searching primers, view all results. And then what's going to be really handy about this is that we can filter what price range that we want for this. So let's see, show filters, and then we can go price, and then I'm gonna say under $25. Okay, so let me just start off by saying e.l.f. is probably one of my favorite affordable brands while still being good quality for a beginner makeup kit. So this is the Power Grip Primer. It's pretty similar to the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I feel like this is a really good all-over primer. They have a Power Grip Matte Primer, and then they also have the regular Power Grip Primer too. There is the one with niacinamide in it, but I personally don't like that one as well as the original. Okay, so you can actually choose your sizes too, which is great. Okay, this is the travel size one. We're gonna get the big size one though. But both of them are $11. If we go back on our sheet here, e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and then e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer. Both of them were $11, so we're just going to type 11 into the column, and then we are just doing one quantity of each. As you can see though, I put in the price. There's no need to do dollar signs, by the way, because everything calculates at the bottom, and then it totaled up to 11 in the total column. As you can see, I literally had to do no math, didn't touch any calculators. It just automatically totaled it for me. And then what we're gonna do is I really like the Milani setting spray, and then we're going to do the 2.03 ounce one instead of the 6 ounce one. This is a smaller version, but it's only $13.99. And again, sometimes you kind of just have to utilize your travel size items or like smaller items just to kind of get by. Milani Make It Last setting spray, and then what did I say? That one was $13.99. Okay, so even if you do decimal points, it'll still calculate a quantity of 1, and then it totals over here. And then as you scroll down, if you can see in the total column, it is automatically totaling what we have as far as our price so far. So then I'm just going to do a moisturizer. I can't spell moisturizer. Okay. Let me do that, and then we're gonna filter it out. Face moisturizer. Show filters, price. I'm gonna go with this La Roche-Posay Double Repair Moisturizer. La Roche-Posay does really, really good at skincare for a very affordable cost too, but still being high quality. So we're just gonna go with the 1.3 ounce for $11.49. Roche-Posay Double Repair. Oh my gosh, what is my issue with trying to spell moisturizer? And then that was $11.49. Okay, we're only gonna do one of it. And then that is pretty much your base for your skin prep. For complexion, let's just start out with some foundations. And then again, we're going to show filters, price, under 25. You know what? I actually already think I know which one I want to pick. Maybelline. The Maybelline Fit Me foundations are honestly one of the best that I've found. Okay, yeah, so those are only $11.99. Sorry, I'm going back and forth on foundations because the thing with foundations is that you usually need at least like 4 to 5 foundations to really encompass all the skin tone ranges, and things add up pretty quickly. Okay, so Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation's also a really good one too. The LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation is pretty good. That's only $10. I'm gonna go with the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the matte and poreless one. Don't get the dewy one, that one sucks. For $11.99, I might have to change it later depending on the budget because we're trying to stay underneath $800. But let me see how much this adds in. Sorry for my typing errors here. I don't know what's up with me. Okay, let me just say that we do like 5 of them. $59.95, that's the total of it. And then that already brings our total to a little over $100. That's what I'm saying, how things add up really quickly. That's why $800 doesn't seem like that much of an astronomical budget. Let me go on to concealers. Although I might do the Maybelline Fit Me concealers just to match it. Kind of just depends on what we find here. So let me go under 25 again. I feel like there should be a category for like under 15 too. Okay, I'm gonna pretty much ignore all the higher end concealers because all of these are going to be travel size items and you're probably not gonna get the biggest bang for your buck on those. This is actually a really, really good concealer, but it's like $12.99, which is more expensive than the foundation. And I don't know if I want to do that or not. So, okay, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealers are really good, and they're only $8. And this will work with all skin types too. Even though it says hydrating, it still does work for oily skin too. We're gonna get like 4 shades of the concealer. You don't have to get as many of them as foundations because you can kind of like mix and match them really easily. The undertones don't matter as much. So then we need some powders. I'm gonna do 1 press and 1 loose. Press powders are really good for people who are a little bit drier and you don't wanna pack on a lot of powder, but having a loose powder is essential for oily skin people because then you can take a powder puff and like really press it in. So that's why I want to kind of have one of both. Okay, what do the Maybelline Fit Me powders run? Because I think there's a translucent version of this one. Yeah, okay. Let me do this one, and then it's $11.99. I'm gonna do like 1 of those, and then loose powder. For your darker complexions, you might possibly need 1 more medium to deep shade inside of there too. Morphe Set and Bake Powder, Photo Focus. They have a Black Friday deal going on right now, but since we're doing this at like normal prices, it's regularly $7.99 right here. Sorry about my typing abilities or lack thereof. Photo Focus. It's probably gonna drive some people absolutely nuts. What are we at? Okay, so we're at $159.41. We're doing pretty good actually. We also need a blush and bronzer palette. It's really important for the rest of the complexion products to be in palettes. I think you save a lot of money that way while also being super versatile with the skin tones that you're working on. I'm gonna say under 25, but we might need to filter it up a little bit. Sometimes they run a little bit higher. Yeah, okay, we're gonna have to go a little higher as far as like the price range of it. Let me go 25 to 75. And try not to tap into the 75 range, but I'm thinking like $30 to $40 should be okay. I don't know if I want to get into the cream palettes, and 54 is kind of high. Hold on, let me just Google here, see if this comes up with anything else. e.l.f. bronzer palette. Okay, wait a second. So Juvia's Place, I forgot about them. Let me go on to that because I think that Ulta has that. It's not necessarily in a palette, but they're duos. I probably would say getting 3 of them because the medium shade seems too weird for like fairer skin tones. Okay, so I'm gonna get the light palette, the medium palette, and the deep dark one. Bronzer duo. And then this one was $24. I feel like that's okay. I really wanted to get a whole entire palette for like around $30, $40, but that's not happening. So we're gonna say 3, and that's obviously already 72, which takes our total to $231.41. I should be able to find a blush palette. I don't think that's gonna be as hard. Blush palettes are pretty universal for skin tone, so I think it should be okay. All right, Let me go under Makeup Revolution because they usually have like pretty good blushes. So they have this Ultra Blush Sunset Burst palette. I don't know if that's a permanent collection of theirs. We're just gonna go with it for now. It has a 4.7 star rating, so I feel like that's pretty good. And then it has pretty much all of your shades inside of here that you need. The only thing I think that I'd probably put in there is like a light pink shade, but right now this will probably suffice with your clientele because there is a deep shade for darker complexions and it's only $11. So that'll save us a little bit since we spent a little bit more on the bronzers. Quantity of 1. All right, then we just need a highlighting palette. Oh, I haven't heard of Palladio in a while. Okay, you know what? Let's go with the Milani one. I feel like this is actually really good because it gives you your white, your champagne, and then your bronze shade. And you can mix like any one to make a custom color for people, and it's $16.99. That's pretty much all we need for complexion. Okay, with your eyes, we're going to play this super simple. So all we really need is a neutral eyeshadow palette with mattes and shimmers, and then a colorful eyeshadow palette with also mattes and shimmers too. Okay, so for these, ColourPop is by far my favorite brand that is affordable, but also really good quality. And you can find anything in there. Like these huge palettes are like $35. Smoke and Roses palettes is also good, but then the Stone Cold Fox is good too. Okay, so since I'm really not finding one that has like cool tones, warm tones, and also shimmers inside of it, I think what I'm gonna do is choose the 9-pan palettes and then maybe do like 3 of them. Going to just label it ColourPop 9-pan eyeshadow palettes. And then these are regularly $14. I'm going to say 3 of them. And $42 is pretty good. That's actually not too far off from the price of the larger palettes that they have. Okay, let me just put in like colorful eyeshadow palette. This is a little insane looking, but let's just go with this. And then that one was $20. We only need 1 of those. It's like literally half the budget of the other one. Okay, what are we at? $321.40. Okay, and we can definitely find an eyeshadow primer for under $25. I'm gonna go with the Milani eyeshadow primer. Milani Stay Put eyeshadow primer. And that one is only $10.99 at its regular price. 1 of those, and that's gonna be clear, so it'll be universal for all skin tones. And then we need a black and a brown liner and a mascara. Here's the thing with eyeliners though, is that they have to come in creams that you deep hot, or they have to be sharpenable wooden pencils in order to make them sanitary for your kit. So that is something that I'm going to be very cognizant of when I pick out stuff. So let me go with the, actually Maybelline has a liner. This is great because it's $10.99 for each of them. So we're gonna go with the Maybelline gel liner. And then I am going to put a quantity of 2 on there, but really we need like 1 black and 1 brown, and that's all you need. And then we also then need a mascara. So I love the L'Oreal Lash Paradise waterproof mascaras. Those are the ones that I use for my personal kit. I always buy drugstore mascaras only because I go through mascaras way too often. Like I go through them probably like at least once a week or like every other week, and I'm replacing them way too often to buy like $20, $30 mascaras. Technically you can buy 1 black and 1 brown mascara, but it really doesn't make like a huge difference there, especially when you're putting lashes on top of it. But let's say for budgeting sake, if you really wanted to do that, then we'll put in a quantity of 2. L'Oreal does have a brown mascara. It's just not listed on Ulta's website for some reason. And then the only other things that I've realized that is not on here is false lashes, because you're also gonna need those too. I already know which lashes. I use the Ardell Naked lashes, the style 420s. They're $14.49 for a 4-pack, but sometimes they have the additional 5 inside of there, so look at that. I don't know why they're only rated 3.9 stars. That's kind of ridiculous, but I promise you they're really good. These are one of the most natural. The 420s and the 421s are really good. So let's hypothetically say you need 2 boxes of each, so that'd be 4 altogether. 420s, 421s are really good. Those are the ones I use in my personal makeup kit. You know what? I'm gonna add 1 more column here for the lash glue. And the one I'm gonna grab, actually I already know, Kiss Lash Glue. Here we go. Got it. I was really concerned for a minute. Okay, so it's $5.99. We're just gonna need 1 of them for right now because glue lasts you a while. So what does our budget look like? We're at $442.30. Yeah, see, there is no way you'd be able to build a kit underneath $500 unless you bought like things from like LA Colors or something or the dollar store, but would not recommend doing that because we're trying to find, yes, affordable products, but we're also not trying to find the cheapest products. We're trying to find something that still holds its value and quality, and that's what I think we have is like a solid list here. So really going on to eyebrows, what I'm gonna try to find is a brow powder palette because that is the simplest solution. Okay. So this is not from Ulta. This is from a professional makeup brand. They do like stage makeup usually, called Mayron. Might have heard about it before, but they have the greatest range here, I think, that I've seen. So it's only $19.95, but you get your lighter colors up top, you get your medium shades, and you get your darker shade, and it's all in like one powder palette. I think this is also either a primer or a gel, it looks like. Okay, and a clear pomade. So you can technically use the pomade inside of there to set it. I don't really like the pomades inside of powder palettes though, that they have for brows. So we're gonna find our own. Pretty sure you can either find it off their website like we just did, or you can also find it off of a brand called Camera Ready Cosmetics. I'll be linking all of these products down below for you guys in the description. So in case you wanna buy these specific products that I'm recommending, then I'll put links to them down there. Going back to Ulta really quickly, because I'm trying to mostly stay within Ulta. So if you guys were to shop at like the same store, for instance, or do online shopping, you can find it like all in one place. I'm trying to be as convenient as possible too. I'm gonna say eyebrow gel. And I'm just gonna try to find a clear brow gel. You know what? I'm going to do the NYX Control Freak one. And that one's only $8, which is great. Okay, $470.25. We are at the lips now. Lipsticks. Actually, Juvia's Place has really good lipsticks. And then I want to say that you need a couple of different nude shades, a red shade, and like a dark vampy kind of shade. To be fair, maybe say 6. So all of these are $15 at its normal price, but you know what? That's a little too high for right now. How much are the NYX lipsticks? Let me go with that. Okay, so the NYX Suede lipsticks. Okay, yeah, so they're $9. Let's go with that instead. And then they come in a wide variety of shades. Yeah, let's do this because I want to stay pretty cheap as far as these because you might need more. Natural matte, which is great. So $9 for those. And then let's just put 6. And for the quantity of them, everything is literally gonna add up so quickly now. We need lip glosses. I'm gonna do the NYX Butter Gloss because I love the butter glosses. Realistically, you only need an actual clear gloss. You don't have to have the entire range of glosses. Oh, they actually have like a duo with like the butter gloss and the brow gel. Just to let you guys know, I think that's might be like a holiday thing. So we're gonna do the NYX Butter Gloss, but we're just gonna pick the shade Clear. But anyways, what I wanted to say though is you only need one clear gloss because you can take a little bit of your lipstick with your spatula, mix it in with a clear gloss, and make a tinted gloss of any color you want. So that's kind of a trick. You don't have to buy like all of the shades of gloss. $6 for one of them because we're only gonna buy the clear. Then we need some lip liners. Any pencils, again, have to stay wooden sharpenable pencils, otherwise they're not hygienic to use on your clients. So these ones are perfect. These are also $6. So the suede lip pencils, and those are 6. And then we're gonna say 5 of these because you don't need quite as many of those. You could even do 4, but we're gonna be a little extra and just do 5. We're going on to the tools and disposables. So this one is a very, very important category. I'm gonna try to stay on Amazon for the majority of these because Amazon is kind of where you shop in bulk. If you have like a Costco or Sam's Club membership, you can probably also find items like this in like the beauty healthcare section. Let's go ahead and look at brushes first. Let's do a good brush set. I'm gonna go on Amazon because I mentioned you can get a set called Jessup Makeup Brush Set. And they have really good quality brushes. Okay, so this is the brush that I actually have right now. This will literally encompass everything for every single person. Since these are only $28.99 on Amazon, see, as you can see, 4.7 rating, very high rating. I'm gonna get like 2 of these brush sets. Probably only need like a couple of brush sets to start out with. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's probably like one of the cheapest brush sets that you can get, but still being super good quality. So we're gonna say 2 of those, and then $57.98. What are we at? $618.23. Oh, we might be close, guys. We might be close. We might be close to the $800 budget. We might have to adjust something else. Then we got sponges. Now make sure if you get sponges, they are latex free because there's a lot of people with latex allergies out there. Okay, so I usually get the Shop Miss A sponges, and then I cut them in half. Those are $7.95, normally $12.99. Latex free wedge sponges. I want to see if these are cheaper. So let's just go with these because you get like 100 of these in there. Wedge sponges. What was the regular $9.99? I'm gonna go with those. We need a mixing palette and a spatula. I'm gonna go with like a stainless steel one for right now. I know I mentioned in my other video that acrylic's kind of like my preferred, but for cost's sake, I'm gonna go with this. Okay, perfect. There we go. Yeah, they're really not that expensive. It's $4.99. Steel palette. Sorry, I didn't capitalize these. It's gonna bother me because everything else is pretty uniform. That won't add much. Okay, so then we need some cotton pads. You know what, let me just do the Amazon Basics ones because you won't need a ton and there's like 100 in here. Cotton rounds. You'll need those for makeup removal and stuff. Then we need some Q-tips, $5.65. We have one of those. You know what, actually, let me add makeup remover in here too. I've totally forgot about that. Let me go back to Ulta really quick. Neutrogena's is actually really good, so let me do that one. We're just gonna do the smaller one for $12.99. I'm gonna put it underneath Skin Prep because that makes more sense. Sorry, I keep forgetting how much these prices are. My short-term memory is like near to none. And you also do need makeup wipes just in case somebody comes to your chair and like has a full face of makeup on, because that has definitely happened before. Don't put it past people. Let's just do the Neutrogena fragrance-free makeup wipes. I like these the best only because I don't have any fragrance inside of them, and they're $13.99. $668.80. Okay, we're getting super close. This is making me nervous. All right, so we got disposable mascara ones, disposable lip ones. Let me go back on Amazon. I prefer to have the colored tip ones only because you can see how much product you're putting in there, but for people that like the black, you can either the black ones, the pink ones, like whatever you like, but they're all the same price. So 200 piece, that was $5.99. We're only gonna get one of them since there are a lot of them in there. Oh, lip wands. Okay, so these are the ones that I personally have, and there are 200 pieces. And then how much are they? $5.99. Okay, so then we got our 70% alcohol. That's for sanitizing our products. Realistically, you're not gonna be going through them that quickly, so I'm gonna do like isopropyl alcohol. It's $3.27. I'm also gonna do a 2-pack of spray bottles here, like 1 ounce ones. For the alcohol. I just want to budget that in too. Again, this is kind of just your basics. It's $5.99. So we're at $690.04. So we have a little over $100 to go until we hit 8. We need hand sanitizer. Ooh, except for I need the travel size. Let me go with the Gerbex ones. And then you get like 6 of them in there. Okay, $11.04. We need a little brush cleaner. You know what? Let me go back to Ulta really quick. Okay, so my favorite by far is the Cinema Secrets one, but it's a little bit on the pricier side. Ulta Beauty actually has one from their house collection. Has a 4-star rating with 957 reviews. So you do need a brush cleaner. I don't use this that often, but if you need it in a pinch, it's really nice to have, especially if you're only dealing with 2 brush sets. So let's just go ahead and do this one. They are in a Black Friday deal right now, but it normally is $10. Okay, then we got the actual makeup kit, and that is the last thing. So let me go onto Amazon, and then I am just going to pull up the Reliable bags because those are literally the best quality for the price of them. This one is the one that I think beginners should have, and they're only like $33.98. And these are set style bags, so you'll just put like all of your items inside of these foam inserts. You can organize them and move them however you want to, and then that is kind of like what it'll look like. And then there is a top compartment. You can see in a couple of my makeup kit videos, I actually had this bag at one point in time, but I switched to the backpack version of it. But this one was really, really good to have for a while. Reliable, extra large case. I think that we did it, guys. We stayed within our budget because we are at $745.06. Our sales tax in Indiana, where I live, is 7%. That would add $52.15 onto it, which would be $797.21. Still underneath budget, even with taxes involved. I am totally excited that this ended up working out. I really was questioning whether I could actually keep it under $800, but honestly, that is pretty much the going rate for building your makeup kit for the first time. If this was helpful for you and you liked the tips and you liked how I did this, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because you don't want to miss out on the other videos for Kitmas. Tomorrow's video is actually going to be over how to get your first 5 clients as a makeup artist, and I think you guys will really be intrigued to hear what tips I have. So I hope you guys are having a great holiday season, and I will talk to you guys in tomorrow's video. All right, bye.